Happy Tuesday and happy birthday, Mr. Mike Cousin. I hope you have a fantastic day and I hope this adds a little extra specialness to it. Let's get to it. Before we get talking about our work set, our warm-up, dynamic triangle, 3 to 5 aside, half Turkish get-up from 3 aside using no load or a very light load. So something just to kind of prep the shoulders and move those things around after yesterday. From there, wheeling rotation of 3 per side and a single leg RDL for 3 aside. We're looking at just heating up the core with a little bit of rotation work in this today, plus getting those hips fired up with a side of shoulder length. So we got 2 rounds of that. Take your time. You can add some load to some of those movements, but keep it pretty light and movable. After that, we're going to get more into the movements of our day today. We're going to work on a dumbbell shoulder press, alternating for 4 to 6 reps, working through that nice, smooth kind of flow with the press, into a dumbbell or kettlebell deadlift for 3, dumbbell goblet squat for 3, and a dumbbell or kettlebell swing for 3 reps. Just really going to get the squat and the hinge pattern fired up, making sure we're comfortable with loading there for what's to come. And then you're going to head out for a little run / butt kick for 30 seconds. Get that kind of going. We're looking at a pretty short little run just to get that heart rate up and get those legs fired up and ready for the cardio piece. Now we'll hit that anywhere from 2 to 3 rounds, get your heart rate fired up, get yourself ready with loading before we tackle this little chipper here. The chipper today is going to be a dumbbell shoulder press for 25 reps. If you do not have load that will tolerate a shoulder press, you can do a push press. So we're getting a double whammy of the overhead work from yesterday to today. Then you're going to do 50 jump squats, 75 kettlebell swings, and then an 800-meter run or cardio piece of choice that I'll have on the bottom of the workout description. Really good opportunity to play with some good movement here. Nice chance to just kind of take this down one time through checking off each exercise as you kind of knock them off. But we'll talk about how you can break those down and tackle those bigger numbers. So let's warm you up. Let's get you ready. Let's have some fun today. Let's move around a little bit, you guys. Let's get our feet under those hips. We're going to take the arms up overhead. Little stretch. And we'll come back through with a little stretch. Come back up. Little shrug. Down, and we'll take those bodies all the way down to the floor. Touch the toes, walk up the shins, come down, frame a foot, we'll step back into our lizard. Inside hands are going to reach up to the sky. We're going to rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, and then rotate forearm to the floor. Back up, and rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, planting that hand. On the ground, we'll step back into our down dog, just waking up those hips and shoulders just a tad, and back into that plank as we step that other foot up into our lizard. Inside hands can reach up, and then rotate forearm down, come back up, and rotate forearm down, and up, and rotate forearm down. Come back up overhead, we'll plant that hand on the floor, we'll step back into our down dog as we reach those hips, and then we'll come back through into that plank as we gently press the floor away, tiptoe those feet all the way up, and then roll ourselves all the way up overhead. Big long stretch to one side, little reach to the other side. We'll come through, shrug, come back down with those arms, and then find that nice standing position. Now, if there's any extra movement you'd like to take down for yourself today, cat-cows, thread the needles, some band work, who knows, whatever you need to take down, please tackle that now before we move on to the next phase, which is going to touch on a little bit of everything in our body today. So we're going to really get ourselves fired up. So pause it, rock it, come back and join me for that first phase of warm-up. All right, now, what we got going on to start our day off, we're going to start off with a little bit of T-spine and hip work. So we're going to get our feet out into our sumo stance. We're going to turn one toe directly to the side, the other toe on an angle. We're going to get our hips open nice and tall. I'm going to bring that hand to the thigh, and I'm going to screw in that light bulb overhead. I'm going to pull the hip back into that nice hinge, maintaining that nice overhead position, and that's going to allow me to get a nice stretch up through the side, nice stretch through those legs as we work through that hinge pattern. Now, if you'd like to load this gently, you can, but keep it light because we want to focus focus on the shoulder position and still maintain that good range of motion that we have throughout this motion. So really taking that smooth flow back into that back heel to get that hinge while still maintaining that overhead position. Once we've done 3 to 5 per side at a relatively slow pace, we're going to continue to work on that overhead position with some rotation. I'm going to get myself a little pad here for my knee, and I'm going to get myself in this kneeling hip stretch position. So my knee is over top of my heel, back knee under hip, under shoulder, and my hips are nice and square. I'm going to take that hand straight up to the sky, and my other hand is going to come down towards the floor. Now I'm going to push this arm down, I'm going to push this arm up as I hinge to the side, coming all the way down to the floor. Fingertips to the palm, while keeping this hand to the sky. Really focusing on that good shoulder position here. I'll come back up, squeezing through that side body, keeping the ribs in tight, and keeping that arm pressing to the ceiling. So if you're going to load this one, keep it light, because again, like that dynamic triangle, our goal is to keep the shoulder position the same as we lower down to the side and then come back up. We're trying to prevent that shoulder from rolling in on itself as we hinge into that half Turkish getup. Now on the other side of things, this is a challenging movement to maintain shoulder position even without load. So if you're like, I'm not going to use load today, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you can use any type of loading from a soup tin, a little water bottle, who knows. It doesn't have to be heavy, but just something to give your arm awareness of where it is in space and time. Once you've done 3 per side, you're going to move into our kneeling rotation. We can hold a dumbbell at the goblet position at the chest, or we can hold no dumbbell and just work on setting that hip position and then rotating through that low rib towards that lead leg, and then come back to center. So we're rotating at the lower body, at the low rib position, not the lower body, that stays still. But we're rotating at that low rib, lower body is still, and I'm going to take it to whatever range I feel comfortable with. Now if we load this, our range of motion isn't going to be huge, and I want you to really pay attention to your range of motion if you're loading this. So as we hold the dumbbell up at the chin, we're going to rotate, and you're going to find that that's going to get fired up really soon. So just ease out of it when you feel that first sensation. Super important. You'll do 3 per side very slowly. There's no tempo, but I would definitely even say add in a tempo, 3-second kind of rotation, and come back nice and steady and smooth. So we're not rushing this because it's not meant to be done fast. Once we're done our kneeling rotation per side, we're going to get our feet in a standing position underneath of the hips. I'm going to turn profile so you can see my hip hinge. And I'm going to bring my toe back, hips come square, and if I'm going to load this, I'm going to hold the dumbbell to the front, to the side, or to that posting and or balancing side. But regardless of where I hold the dumbbell, my hips are square, my foot is flat, my big toe is down, and I'm going to draw that hip back to the back wall, taking my hands and the dumbbell down towards my knee, and then I'm going to stand up nice and tall. Checking in on those hips, making sure they stay square the entire time. Now it's very common as we stand up to kind of open up to the sides. We just have to make sure that we reassess the hip position before each rep. Now with this, there's no tempo, but these aren't done super fast either, so we want to make sure that we're taking advantage of the range of motion and really exploring that hamstring as much as we can. So we have a dynamic triangle of 3 to 5 aside, half Turkish getup for 3 aside, kneeling rotation of 3 aside, and a single leg RDL for 3 to 5 per side. Now you can load any of those exercises or none of them. It depends on what you want to do to get yourself prepped for this warm-up and this work set. So if you want to go through a round empty, load the second round, you can do that, or you can not load any of them for that warm-up to get your body ready to go. Pause the video, take down those 2 rounds, get your body ready. We're going to move into those next exercises that are very similar to the work set you're going to see in the workout. Alright, you guys, our next phase of work, we're going to start playing around with some dumbbells and kettlebells perhaps. So our first exercise is our dumbbell shoulder press. So I'm going to clean this bad boy up into that nice front rack position. My feet are going to come underneath of my hips or just outside, depending on what I need to do to keep my feet flat. I'm going to turn profile so you can see my overhead position a little bit better, but the whole time I'm thinking about pressing through my feet, ribs in, pressing into the dumbbell a little bit to keep that upper body nice and set, and then I'm going to take a big old breath, bracing through that midsection, and then I'll press, keeping it nice and strict as I take that arm overhead. I'll pull the dumbbell back down and then press straight back up. So my bicep is slightly behind my ear if I can. If I can't, that's okay. I'm going to press it as high and as overhead as I can to maintain that good position. Now with that shoulder press, if you have 2 dumbbells, you are going to alternate back and forth between 4 to 6 reps. If you are using a single dumbbell, just hit 2 to 4 reps per side and then switch sides, take it down. After our shoulder press, we have a dumbbell / kettlebell deadlift. So we're going to work on that hinge pattern. So the dumbbell may already be in your hand. If it is, you can start from the top. If it's on the floor or you have a different dumbbell for that, you'll stand over top. And my suggestion is using this as a sumo style deadlift because that's where the dumbbell or kettlebell will be in our kettlebell swing. So again, turning profile, I'm going to stand right over top of this kettlebell or dumbbell. I'm going to draw my hips back like I did in my RDL. I'm going to lower myself down towards the dumbbell, keeping my hips and chest nice and kind of balanced out. My hips will be a little lower than normal. I'm going to push through those legs, working on maintaining that good angle at my hip and back, and then lower back down. So I'm taking it to wherever I feel comfortable at the bottom of that deadlift. So I'm going to draw the hips back and down, take it down, and push through those legs to stand tall. Now really focusing on this in this work set, because we're not using the full range of motion in the swing, but we do want to make sure that that deadlift, those legs, that hinge pattern is getting warm because we're using a nice variety of movement in our workout today. Once we're done our kettlebell or dumbbell deadlift, 3 per side or 3 in total, we're going to hold the dumbbell up under the chin in a nice squat stance position, and we are going to goblet squat. So again, turning profile so you can see my hips. I'm going to draw the hips down towards my heels, really pushing into that dumbbell a little bit, just so I can really stay centered and upright the whole time I go down. Because if we don't push into the dumbbell, we're going to lose a little engagement up in our upper body. So we want to make sure we're just pushing up into that thing just enough that we can feel engagement as we draw ourselves down the bottom of our squat and stand. So exploring the range that we have in our squat to its fullest and or pushing ourselves a little bit into that edge so that we can further our squat depth over time. So we have 3 dumbbell goblet squats, and then we're going to move into the dumbbell or kettlebell swing. So we have 3 reps here, holding the dumbbell or kettlebell any way you'd like. So the kettlebell, obviously you'll hold by the handle. With the dumbbell load offers us 3 different places to hold. We can hold by the bell and get that swing going from here. We can hold 2 hands on the dumbbell handle, and or we can hold single hand in that dumbbell swing and have some fun with the single arm swing. Regardless of how I hold the kettlebell or dumbbell, the swing mechanics are always the same. So I'm going to hold it by the bell today for our demo. But regardless, keep in mind that hip hinge, that leg drive, it's the same for all. Now I'm going to hold the dumbbell. I'm going to keep my hands above my knees. So I'm going to pull those hips back fast into that nice little hip hinge. And I'm going to use that leg drive to get that kettlebell or dumbbell moving. And I'm going to be relaxing those arms for the majority of that swing. I'm not trying to pull the kettlebell or dumbbell with the arms. I'm allowing the energy given through the legs to let that kettlebell come up or dumbbell come up to wherever I feel comfortable, and then I let it come down, absorb, give it back. Absorb, give it back. Absorb, give it back. So I'm really working on the timing and that smooth receiving of the weight, give back the energy, and absorb it again. Always remembering that we're not controlling the bell. We control our body and move with the belly. So allow yourself to keep that in mind. It's a nice way to think about this kettlebell swing. Now, our last exercise is a little run or butt kick or cardio piece of choice that's going to get you ready for what you're doing in the workout. So piece that in there. If you are looking at the butt kick to kind of play around, just work on some run technique, what we're looking at is standing, feet under the hips, nice and upright, index and thumb holding that imaginary tissue paper, and we're going to hold it with a 90 degree, all right, so we can pump those arms if we need to. The lower body though, we're going to pull that foot up underneath of the glute and hip to find that nice relaxed foot at the bottom and create that figure four. So we're really trying to create that nice tight figure four position and pull with our hamstring and the lower glute. So we want to think of with the hamstring doing the work and that four position coming through the knee. So that foot stays nice and nestled underneath of our body. As a quick recap, we have a dumbbell shoulder press, 4 to 6 alternating if you have 2 dumbbells. If you have a single, 2 to 4 per side. Now if you don't have a weight light enough to shoulder press, you'll work on the push press like we did yesterday in that movement set. Dumbbell or kettlebell deadlift for 3 per side or 3 in total. Dumbbell goblet squat for 3, maybe adding a tempo in there, maybe not. And then a dumbbell or kettlebell swing for 3 per side or 3 of whatever style of swing you like. You're going to throw in a run, butt kick, cardio piece of choice for about 30 seconds roughly just to get the heart rate up, kind of get that body going, and then hit that for 2 to 3 rounds to figure out your working weights, the movements in the workout you're playing with, and that cardio piece of choice. So let's pause the video, let's take that down, let's get ourselves ready to go, take those things down, and we'll be ready for what's to come. All right, we've made it to the work set. Now, what our workout entails, we have a dumbbell shoulder press for 25 reps, breaking it down any way you'd like. Now, if you have a single dumbbell and not a double, you can take down 5, 5, 5, kind of alternating the work between the arms for a total count of 25. If you have, or if you'd like to do half and half, you're more than welcome with that as well. So please keep that in mind. Same rules apply if you're push pressing instead of shoulder pressing. You're going to alternate and you're going to share the work between the arms. We went through a lot of shoulder press kind of coverage in our opening sequence, so if you need any points of performance, scroll back, check those out, come back to me, and then rock that work set. But our next movement we didn't cover yet at all. We covered the goblet squat, but we didn't cover the jump squat. So the jump squat we have for 50 reps in this workout. Now with this, it's the same mechanics of our goblet squat except no load, and we're going to get a little explosive. So we have 3 different variations of our jump squat. At its very base and foundation of this movement, we have our air squat. So drawing the hips to the heels, knees track the toes, and keeping those feet nice and flat on the floor. From there, we have our non-jumping jump squat. We take it down, we drive, we pull back down into that bottom position. We're not leaving the ground, but you very well may come up off of your heels at the top, but then pull those feet flat down as we come back into the bottom of our squat. Last but not least, we have our jump squat. So we set up in our foot position, our normal squat stance, same as that last one, except we leave the ground a little bit. So we're not trying to go super high, but we are just trying to open the hips and close the hips nice and quick, working on that fast turnover as those those feet leave the ground ever so subtly. It's very important we work on trying to land in the same stance every time because that is what's going to help move us through those reps with ease and a nice smooth flow. So take those down, whatever variation you'd like to play with. I'll also have some different options for that jump squat in that workout description if you'd like to play with a slightly different movement. There will be some other ones there for you. After the 50 jump squats, we have 75 kettlebell swings. Woo! Breaking them down, getting them going. Again, if you're using a single arm swing, you'll just alternate after every 5 reps or kind of breaking them down as you see fit, but making sure we split the work up relatively evenly between the 2 sides. Break those down though. 75 is a big number, so we want to make sure that we can hit probably at least 10 with the loading that we're choosing so that we don't get stock cold at those kettlebell swings. Last but not least, you're gonna go for a little run or cardio piece of choice for a nice 800 meter. You're gonna cross the line, finish, done, woo! So we finished with that nice run at the end of the work set. It's a nice way to close out and just leave everything in the tank that's left out on that run. So whatever you got left over, put it into that 800 meter. It's gonna be a good day today. So I hope you guys enjoy. As a quick recap again, 25 shoulder press, 50 jump squat, 75 kettlebell swing, run 800 meters, done. Happy birthday, Mike. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you all really enjoy this work set. As always, work for quality, have a ton of fun. We'll see you tomorrow for some more fun as we start kind of ringing out September and bringing in October. So it's going to be a great week of transition into that next month of programming. Have a great day, you guys. See you tomorrow.